Hey guys, so today I just wanted to take a quick look at the Salomon Ultra vest that they came out with for this year. This is the 8 liter one. They have a 2 liter, a 5 liter, and an 8 liter. So this is the biggest one. It's actually identical to the 5 liter, except there's little uh, pleats in the pockets. So they just kind of expand out more, is the idea. So that's where the extra capacity is. Um, I would say it's actually very similar to the 3 liter from last year. Uh, that was just real underrated as far as storage, and so this is the 5 or the 8 is just more accurate as far as how much they hold. So these go for about 150 bucks, I believe, and they're super lightweight. This is about 125 grams, and so it just weighs absolutely nothing on you. And so it's really great. If you haven't tried one of these super lightweight vests, you really have to try them because they're just a real revelation compared to a heavier backpack style vest. For being so light, they still hold a lot of stuff. And so Salomon's made some changes for 2017 compared to last year, and some are good, some I would have to get more used to. But I'll kind of show you the features. So one thing they've changed on the vest this year is there's more sizes. I believe there's a couple more sizes. This I think is a large that I'm wearing here, and it fastens across the front this year with this elastic loop, and so that's a new thing because before it was like this elastic band, and so this is definitely more comfortable. I think the vest as a whole is a little stretchier too, but these elastic bands are definitely nicer. So they go through these little hooks on each side, and you can actually move them up and down. There's these little red loops. You can move them down, not real easily, but they are movable. And yeah, and then they fasten. So there are these little plastic bits here, and they're sort of like locks, so you can, if you wanted it tighter, you could um, slide it through there and then lock it in. um, I don't know for sure how well they would hold. I feel like they would kind of pop out after a while and loosen up. So, but I mean, for me, these are just out all the way. They're just maxed out, and it's pretty comfortable. Now I did try the XL just to see, and so that one I was able to kind of snug up the straps, and they did seem to hold at least for one run, so that's good. But otherwise, worst case, you could just tie another knot and fasten them up that way if they did slide. Because that was one problem with last year's vest. With the different fastener, it did tend to slide open pretty often. So these are an improvement. One thing I didn't really appreciate exactly is that the storage capacity of these vests changes depending on the size of the vest you're wearing. So the smaller vests do have less storage capacity. I don't know if they measure with I'm not sure what size they measure it with to figure out the 8 liters or 5 liters. But so that's one thing, because one thing is I noticed in the pictures of Salomon athletes trying these vests, is a lot of times they had them very like almost touching in the middle, and I don't think that's how they're supposed to be, but maybe that was so they could get larger pockets and get more storage capacity. So that's something to consider when you're thinking about the sizing also. So Salomon uses their own soft bladders, soft bottles, and they're kind of their own design. I mean, they're made by Hydro Pack, but they're their own design. They're kind of a long and narrow bottle, whereas some of the other brands go for more of a shorter and wider bottle. So these pockets are designed for these style bottles. And Salomon did redesign the bottles this year, so they have like a hard bullet shaped bottom, and the idea is to make it easier to slide the bottles into the pockets. and then they made a bigger top on the bottle. So before they were maybe just an inch or so wide, and it was kind of hard to pour stuff into the bottles. And now they're a nice wide. I don't know if you could fit normal ice cubes in them, but like smaller ice cubes you could. So those are definite improvements. So those slide right in on each side. And the other huge improvement, which I didn't realize Salomon had done initially, is they added an elastic loop here, and that just goes around the neck of the bottle, of the soft bottle, and it goes nicely under the teeth of the cap that are there this year. And basically, because what would happen before is as you drink the water, the soft flask would just kind of droop down into the pocket, and sometimes you have to fish around for them. And this elastic loop, I think, should solve that problem. So it'll just hold the bottle at the top all the time, and you won't have to go fishing for it. And these vests are stretchy enough that you can just grab it a little bit and bring the bottle up to your mouth, so you don't need any straws or anything, and you don't have to take the flasks out of the pockets to drink. So, and it's the same as it was last year, but so that's really nice. So that little elastic loop, it seems kind of chintzy, but whoever thought of that on the Salomon team should get a big raise, because I think that's one of the best features of the new vest here, is that loop to hold the bottles up. So you have that, and then in front of each soft bottle pocket, you have a big dump pocket, and they've enlarged those for this year, so they go back a couple inches further. So that's one thing I have mixed feelings on, because that made the lateral pocket shorter a couple inches. I kind of liked the lateral pocket being longer, but I could see where you could make an argument for making these pockets bigger too, because you could fit even more junk in them, and that's pretty easy to access while you're running. So that's kind of a mixed bag. I guess I'd have to try it more to see which I prefer. But yeah, so there's those two giant pockets. You have one zip pocket on the front here. So you can stick, it's not big enough for a phone or anything, but you can stick, odds and ends in there. One thing too on the Salomons, they've gotten better zippers this year. So they're very easy to go up and down, whereas last year there was always a struggle to get them to go up and down easily. On the left side, they have this pocket now, and it has a side vertical opening. And I think this is one thing they should go back to, because last year they just had the same shape pocket, but the opening was at the top. It was just a horizontal elastic, and you could drop stuff into it. This one, there's just not enough tension on it. There is a little silicone strip right at the edge that's supposed to kind of catch stuff, but really it's just too loose. I don't know I'd like to hear what their thoughts were on what they were thinking you could put in this pocket, because I think it's pretty kind of useless right now the way it's designed. So that's the front of the vest. So I'll take it off here, slide those suckers out. They're kind of color coded, so the black for the elastic band, and then red tabs on the actual bottle pockets. So that's nifty. And this comes off like that. Alright, so on the back of the pack, it's actually pretty similar to the one from last year. So you have the two side pockets here, and again the zippers are easier to use, and these pockets are shorter. I'll show it next to the last year's one so you can see. But so you have two pockets here, and they have changed it a little bit so that there is now an extra sleeve, at least on the 8-liter one, So you have the pocket, but then you also have an extra space here where you could drop something in if you wanted. There's no Velcro though or anything. So you have that on each side. They did make a sort of arrangement for carrying trekking poles, and that is if you wanted to, you could buy this quiver that they make. So it looks like a quiver for bow and arrows. So it's just a big hollow cylinder, and it attaches up on the top of one of the shoulders, and then at the bottom of the pack there's little loops that you attach the bottom to, and so you would kind of put the poles in over your shoulder that way. So that's how that works. But yeah, otherwise the back is very similar to previous years. You have a big pocket at the top half here. And again, the 8-liter has pleats, so you can really stretch it out and stick stuff in there. And then the bottom half has an outer pocket where you can drop in jackets and stuff. There is an extra little pocket inside there. It's a little mesh slot for a battery or something. There's no provisions for a bladder, unfortunately, on these. They're just so light. I don't know if they have the structure to support a bladder, honestly. And you can't really, I guess I haven't really tried, but I don't think you could really fit hard bottles in the front pockets either if you wanted to. So, and then the back is the same as the inside. Is just the same as last year. It's just this very light mesh in the middle, and then this real stretchy mesh on this lateral sides, and then a little thicker mesh on the front panels. So a little padded mesh there on the shoulders and stuff. So that's very similar to last year. So we'll take a look at how it compares to the previous year's vest here. Okay, so let's take a look at how the vest has changed from last year to this year. So you can see I've kind of put, so the 2017 is on top here, and then the previous year, I think this was 2016 or 2015, at the bottom here. So you can see, so here's the dump pocket on the front, and you can see on the previous years how much shorter it is. So it's about 2 inches shorter, and so now you can see the contrast on the lateral pockets here. On the current year, this is the width there, and then on the previous year you can see how much wider that lateral pocket was. So I mean, I can see an argument for going both ways, for making the dump pocket bigger this year. I did kind of like the bigger lateral pockets last year. I do find it's a little bit harder because you have to reach back further to get to the side pocket on the 2017 one. And on last year, I like to put my phone in the side pocket here. On the 2017, you can fit a phone in there just barely, but it's really angled. It doesn't follow your back at all, whereas on the previous year you could kind of stick it on your back almost. Now on the 2017 you can fit a phone. I have like an iPhone 6 in a LifeProof case, and you can fit it up and down in the pocket. You can fit it long ways in the pocket. So there's definitely good room to put stuff in the front dump pockets now. So just kind of a trade-off there. And then you can see too on the back. So here's the bottom half of the pocket on the 2017, and you can see how much narrower the pocket was on the 2016. It's several inches narrower on the bottom. So again, you've kind of ate into the lateral pocket. So I don't know. I felt like the back pocket here was actually big enough. On previous years, you could definitely fit a windbreaker, rain jacket kind of thing in there. But, you know, again, I could see the arguments for either way on that. Either pocket, I found you're able to kind of reach around and grab stuff out of the pocket, but I can't really put stuff into the pocket from, at least with my flexibility. I'm not agile enough to do that. And I did want to mention on the 2017 this year, these back pockets also have the little strip of silicone at the top, and that's supposed to be a little sticky so that stuff won't fall out as easily. And then this Salomon is reflective on the back like it was last year, so that's good. Okay, so overall, a very solid product from Salomon. It does come with a little emergency whistle too, so that's nice. And it comes with 2 soft flasks. They're I forget. I think they're 17 ounces each, so pretty decent. And but yeah, so again, about $150. Comes in 5 sizes, I think, this year, and really a nice vest. I mean, if you haven't used one of these super lightweight hydration vests, I think it's definitely worth picking one up. You can actually fit a whole lot of stuff in there. I mean, there's videos on YouTube of people fitting all their required equipment for a long race in Europe in there, and so it holds an amazing amount of stuff. But it's also nice for those really where you don't need to carry a lot of stuff, you just need the water capacity. If you have a previous year's version of the Ultra vests, like I was comparing there, I don't know if it's worth it to upgrade exactly. I mean, there are some nice improvements on it, but it's more evolutionary, not revolutionary. So that you'd kind of have to make that call if it's worth it for you. But definitely a nice product, and one I would recommend checking out. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.